What is going on today, guys? We're back yet again with another video. Pretty exciting video at that, I think. I think so, at least. You may not think so, but I'm stoked for it. So it's all that matters, right? We'll see. And unfortunately, in this beautiful state of Pennsylvania, we are hitting winter time, it seems like. So I don't know how much longer these roads are going to be staying clear, but I'm telling you what, as long as the roads are clear, well, the cold doesn't bother me. Only if it gets like super cold, then it bothers me. But we'll hopefully get some moto vlogs out soon, and yeah, we'll see. But like I was saying, about 3 months ago, I'd say 2.5 months ago, got a little something, and you know what? I never thought I would pull the trigger on it. Always wanted one, and fortunately, a bunch of my friends started getting them, and I was like, you know what? Riding the Rocket with a group of people is a little difficult unless you're with a bunch of other people on Rockets. You know, they're made for one thing, they're made to go fast, and unfortunately, when you're riding with a bunch of people on cruisers, you're either letting people go ahead or you're either too far ahead. So there's really no in between on the Rocket. So I wanted something that was a little more comfortable to take on trips and riding, honestly, with a group of people. So it just so happened that one day went up to the dealership, and unfortunately the dirt bike is gone. I had to get rid of the dirt bike for this because it was such a good deal. I couldn't pass it up, and that's a whole other story. But to sum that up, really, we got rid of the dirt bike because it just sat for so long, and it was sick, don't get me wrong. I really enjoyed it, but my time of riding on the dirt was coming to an end. I feel like it was just becoming more work to me than it was fun. You know, you got to really keep at it to stay in shape for it, and unfortunately that just wasn't the case for me. I'd go on rides every couple weeks, maybe once a month, and there was no point in me keeping it anymore. And fortunately, we ended up getting this. I would like to introduce to you my brand spanking new, well, not new anymore, but brand new 2021 Harley Davidson Street Bob. And I am so freaking stoked on this thing. It's unreal. So I guess I'll kind of just go over a little bit, you know, like I said, why I got it was most importantly to go ride around in a group of people. It seemed like more of my friends were getting Harleys this summer for some reason, and it was just dumb not to look into getting one. So don't worry though, the Rocket's still here. That was a big decision as well, was did I want to trade the Rocket in on it or trade the dirt bike in? Got rid of the dirt bike. So still have both, so that's awesome. But one of the big features about this, I did not ever intend on getting this thing the day that I did. You know, it was just one of those things that walked into the dealership and they literally just gave me such a good deal. I was joking about trading the dirt bike in. They're like, we'll take it. And that was that. And then all of a sudden, they had this in there, which I'm not a person that usually likes to buy new things. I don't see the point in it personally. But I actually went to the dealership. They had a 2016 Dyna that I was really interested in, and better deal was just to go with the new one apparently. So they suckered me into it, and I'm not regretting it at all. Although I don't know if it's gonna start because it's gotten super cold and I haven't ridden it in a little while. So yeah, but we'll see. Let's see, man. This is cold start too. There we have it, little startup video, and thing sounds great. That Milwaukee motor is insane. It has like the noise that it makes, that little chiming little whistle, and it's freaking pretty sweet, I'm not gonna lie. Title of this video somewhere along the lines of a little 3-month review so far. So let's see how many miles I actually have on the bike right now. So 2568. So just in that little bit of ownership, I've rolled over a little over 2,500 miles. So had the bike in twice for its service. I think the first one was 1,000-mile service, second was 2,500. But this is my first Harley Davidson, obviously, and I've loved every second of it so far. This bike has not let me down yet, knock on wood. And coming from a first-time Harley owner, you know, the experience of this whole thing, of buying this, was incredible. If anybody's around the Pennsylvania area, West Virginia area, check out Valley Harley Davidson in Triadelphia, West Virginia. Those guys are top tier, and they treated me so well. I mean, it was like buying a car. I was so surprised how crazy the whole experience is. But before we get into this little review here, I'll just go over again what I have done to it so far in the 3 months that I've owned it. A little under 3 months, actually. So in those 3 months, the first thing I did was get rid of those horrendous looking covers and got the LED taillights and signals, as well as front signals. And they look killer. We'll throw a signal on real quick so I can show you what they look like. You know, flash the amber after. Obviously got the, I want to say it's called the Daymaker headlight. Came from the factory like that. Someone at work actually gave me this little saddle looking bag here, and it's pretty convenient to keep my sunglasses and stuff in there, so pretty convenient if you ask me. Just did white tire paint on the letters. I just wanted to make it pop a little extra, and I think it turned out pretty freaking rad. Like I said earlier, the Reinhardt Racing slip-ons, had them throw those on the day of when I bought it. You know, I had them put it on because I had to come back home to grab the dirt bike, and had them throw those on there because I was like, they started, I was like, that doesn't sound like a Harley. So they had those thrown on. I was like, now that sounds like a Harley. So pretty awesome. And then the most recent thing was the Kuryakin soundbar, because you know me, man, I love jamming out, love having fun when I'm out on the road on these things, and I like to goof off. So the speaker was a must. As far as plans go for this thing, really the only thing I'm probably even going to look at doing next is a seat. I want to check out a Saddleman seat next, but since the season's coming to an end, probably not going to worry about it till next year. But we'll see. You know, I might get one over winter. We'll see. But I want to get a custom made one to match the paint and everything, so we'll see. Now that we got the whole parts list and everything done on it, go into the review of owning this thing in my past 3 months, we'll say. Before I even bought this thing, knew nothing about Harleys. I'm still learning about Harley Davidsons. I don't know too much about them, to be honest with you. And that in itself has been a fun experience, learning about them, learning how they work, you know, learning how they ride even, and what you can and can't do compared to the Rocket, obviously. There's a whole lot of more fun stuff you could do on that thing, don't get me wrong, but this bike is incredible. You know, I didn't test ride it when I bought it, so that was one thing. I jumped right into this thing. Like I said, I was going to look at the Dyna that had the 103 in it. I have never personally owned anything brand new, so for it to be a Harley Davidson, man, you know, that's a proud moment for me. Aside from all that, let's get into this little review now, I suppose, huh? Right off the gate, I hopped on this thing from the dealership and rode it home and blew through a red light because I wasn't prepared for the weight of this thing compared to the CBR. I still think this bike is fairly light. You know, it's under 700 pounds still, I believe. Don't quote me on that, but I think it's roughly under 700 pounds. But the weight difference of this is so crazy compared to the CBR. The CBR is right around 450 something, I believe. And this is obviously over that. So the riding styles of the two bikes, not very different, but I was surprised at how much this thing handles on the road. You know, if anybody else obviously has some sort of Harley, let me know if it's the same for any other model across the board. You know, I was shocked at how well this thing takes turns and everything. You know, a little better than the Rocket almost sometimes. So that is insane. Within the 3 months, haven't ran into any problems at all with this bike. Starts up. It's died on me once so far. It's because I don't actually know why. I think it had something to do with me possibly leaving that speaker on and draining the battery out. But put it on the charger, jump started right up. So aside from that, that's the only issue I've had so far. But other than that, it is freaking awesome. The bike rips. It's got the 114 in it. It loves to spin the tire. And if there is a bike that fits me more than the CBR, it's definitely this thing. Because at first, I wouldn't want to say I was scared of the bike, but it's a lot of power to get used to. It really is a big adjustment. With, not so much top end speed, but the torque on these is insane, you know. You can mess around with them, and they just handle so well. But so far, no complaints on this bike whatsoever. You know, tires are holding up well. Everything else is holding up well. The only thing that I've ran into, there's been a really bad squeak in the back brake somewhere, and for whatever reason, I cannot figure out why or what is causing it at all. So that's really my only complaint that I have about this so far. That and the back brakes are a little spongy. You know, I don't know if it's just mine. I've talked to the dealership about it. I've talked to the service department about it. They're saying maybe the pads are just greased somehow. Not physically greased, but whatever the term is. Within those 3 months, you know, I've had the time of my life on this thing. It really have. You know, I've honestly ridden it more than I have the Rocket. You know, I forget how many miles on the Rocket, but this thing, I'm almost at 3,000 miles in less than 3 months, which is crazy. You know, every day it's been nice. I've hopped on this thing and just went. And that's the big thing too. The comfort on this bike is insane. Everything just fits so well. You know, I don't even want to change anything, but like I said, I want to get different seat. That's the only thing. But it just fits, you know, and I've never really had a bike that just fits. This, you can go all day on it and not even get tired or remotely sore. I'm 5'9" roughly, so it fits perfectly where the mid controls are. You know, my legs just go right there. Nothing's too crammed, nothing's too high. The bars are just right there. They're not far away, they're not too high, you know, they're perfect, and I can't ask for a better motorcycle. One thing I will say, you know, like I said, when I went to go look at the Dyna had the 103 motor in it. The 114, after riding the 114, and I actually got to test ride a 103 when this was in for service a couple months ago, and after riding the 114 for so long, the 103 was just, to put it in dirt bike terms, is the best way I can compare it. The 114 is like riding a 450 dirt bike, in my opinion. And then hopping back on the 103 was like riding a 125. It's just like 103 seemed to have a lot more top end to it than it did torque. So I will say, for me personally, the 114 really isn't too necessary for me. You know, I'm not going 100 mile an hour everywhere. I don't need all this power. It's definitely cool to have, don't get me wrong, but it's not too necessary for me. But I'm not complaining by any means. I've ridden it and can handle it and everything. So after having this for 3 months, would I recommend the bike to someone that is looking to hop on a Harley Davidson? I definitely recommend it. Anybody that's interested in a Street Bob, check them out. They're awesome bikes so far, and like literally, like I said, the 3 months that I've had it, no complaints really so far at all. You know, it rides awesome. It's smooth, so smooth. It handles bumps on the road like crazy, and just all around good time. I, as a new rider to Harley Davidsons, absolutely love it. And you know, I'm coming from the Rocket, so you keep that in mind too. I love it. Check it out. It rides awesome, and I really have no complaints so far. The best thing to do is just, you know, go down to a Harley dealer, go sit on some. You know, salesman is going to be more than happy to help you figure out what is going to fit best for you. And that's a big stigma as well, is wanting something that someone else has. Well, just because someone else has it doesn't mean that you're going to enjoy it. So that's a big thing to keep in mind. As much as it is to have something really cool, don't get me wrong, it may not fit and suit someone else's riding ability or style. So get something that's going to fit your pace. Thank you again all for tuning in to yet another video. I truly appreciate it. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, comment it, and we'll try and keep the content creative here and fun. And I want to create a good atmosphere on this channel, and I want to be want to be connecting with the people that are viewing it. So whichever way this channel decides to go, my main priority on this channel is just to provide something to someone that can make their day better in some form or fashion. So as long as I'm doing that, I'm doing a good job in my opinion. So hopefully the person on the other side of this here is enjoying what they're seeing. Hopefully I made you laugh, smile, whatever it may have been. You know, that's the things that matter the most to me when I'm doing this kind of stuff. And I take a lot of pride in that personally. So just trying to produce that quality content for the people of the world. You know what I mean? That's the game plan. So thank you again. Hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you in the next one.